We're back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Riverfront Coliseum in Cincinnati, Ohio, and this is Brett Kepner along with Shelley Herman with the U.S. Hot Association Monster Truck and Mud Bug Spectacular, all brought to you by today's Chevy Trucks. We're ready to kick things off in the Monster Truck segment of this particular event, and this is Jake Hankey, the Aces High Chevy El Camino. This is an elapsed time competition in Hankey's 16,000-pound supercharged small block Chevy-powered El Camino takes a hard landing after the first machine to hit the cars definitely gets airborne. Now he lines up for a U-turn and hits the second set of machines. Again, huge wheel stand into the air. He lands and crosses that orange pylon that you see that marks the finish line. Now we'll get an elapsed time from Hankey. It'll be a side-by-side battle between this Pennsylvania Chevy El Camino, the Aces High machine, and the machine you see now pulling to the starting line, Gary Bauer and the Lone Ranger. The quickest elapsed time between these two trucks in a special Ford versus Chevrolet Grudge match will return to take on the king of the Chevrolet monster trucks, Jerry Richmond in barefoot. Well, here on the slow motion replay, Shelley, you can see Jake Hankey's qualifying run. And man, he put that thing up, but you'll notice the rear wheels never left the ground. He was still able to apply power even with the front end up.
But look at that bounce that he took too when he was coming off.
Tell you, that is an amazing truck. Like I said, a supercharged small block Chevy engine. It's only 350 cubic inches. Tremendous piece of equipment. The elapsed time, 22.60 seconds. That's good enough to take the #1 spot, obviously. Bauer awaiting the start signal from event director Jim Harris of the U.S. Hot Association. Now there's the flag, and Bauer has a very, very slow start. He hits the first set of cars, gets a lot of air, but still doesn't seem to have the forward momentum he's going to need to even come close to threatening Jerry Hankey. Bauer makes the U-turn in fine fashion, swings around, and now lines up for the hit on the last set of cars. 22.60 seconds the mark to beat, but he is taking his time, Shelley Herman.
He seems to be getting a slow start, but he's lining up the cars real well, too, so at least he won't be disqualified for any kind of technical reason.
But he'll still be way off the mark needed to beat Jake Hankey. He finally hits the finish line area. On Gary Bauer's qualifying run, the machine never did leave the starting line with any kind of serious horsepower. In fact, he took his time lining himself up on that first set of cars. He got the machine up in the air, but even so, it almost bogged the motor with the machine halfway up on the cars. When he came down, it was again with very, very little power in comparison to what the Lone Ranger supercharged Ford is capable of producing. His elapsed time, 25.2 seconds, 3 seconds off the pace he needed to move into the final round against Barefoot. But now for a single run around these cars, let's see what Jerry Richmond and the king of the Chevrolets Barefoot can put down on this 185-foot course. The supercharged, fuel-injected, methanol-burning Chevrolet rat motor in this truck is one of the strongest in monster truck racing. As if you couldn't tell by that kind of tire spinning start. Hitting the cars, tremendous airborne launch, clearing all 4 of the cars on the floor, now making his swing around. The start, Shelley, wasn't nearly as good as it should have been.
It almost looked like a false start there. It seemed to start off a little slow, and then he built up the momentum.
I think the problem was that when he originally nailed the throttle, the tires spun on the concrete floor here in the Riverfront Coliseum, still bouncing all over the place on the landing, and he will coast across. And I don't know if the last time will be on par with Jake Hankey, but remember, the winners will go side by side. Barefoot will be taking on Aces High in a side-by-side battle. Jerry Richmond leaves the starting line. You could see the tires spin, forcing him to get out of the throttle because of the concrete floor here at Riverfront Coliseum. But man, when he hits those car Shelleys, he was in the air.
He's coming down on those tires. You know, those tires only have 10 pounds of pressure in them each. It's hard to believe, isn't it?
It shows. And a 23.2 second elapsed time, interestingly, is slower than Jerry Hankey. So that will set up the championship final between the Aces High Chevy El Camino of Jake Hankey and the infamous Barefoot Chevrolet with Jerry Richmond at the wheel. We'll be back with more championship action, including unlimited and super modified mud racers from Riverfront Coliseum in Cincinnati, Ohio, in just a moment. Tremendous amount of action in the unlimited and super modified mud racing category, but coming up, the finale that everybody's been waiting for, the Battle of the Monster Trucks Championship Dash. In the near lane, Jake Hankey from Pennsylvania, the world's only Chevy El Camino monster truck, with of all things a supercharged small block Chevrolet engine, ran the quickest elapsed time in the qualifying round, and Shelley Herman, he's up against one of the toughest trucks ever built.
The big guns of Barefoot. It's nice to see a Chevy off here, isn't it?
Indeed, it will be an interesting battle. The supercharged, fuel-injected, methanol-burning, big block Chevy engine in the new 89 Chevy truck of Jerry Richmond Barefoot against this machine. The incredible Aces High Chevy El Camino, a machine that Jake Hankey, by the way, built himself. Tremendous piece of equipment. both show quality. Off the starting line, Richmond in barefoot has the advantage, but here comes Jake Hankey, and that is a side-by-side near dead heat. We'll have to watch the replay on that one to even begin to tell a winner, Shelley.
That was too close to call.
Well, on the replay here in the final round, you can see the tire spin on the concrete floor that caused Richmond to get in and out of the throttle, but now on the car hit way up in the air. Full throttle trying to get ahead of Aces High, and from our event director, Jim Harris, we get the word that the winner is indeed Jerry Richmond in barefoot by a matter of inches. On the replay from Jake Hankey's angle, you can see a tremendous starting line launch that gave him what little advantage he had, completely airborne over all the cars, but it was just a matter of inches behind barefoot the winner. Now, interestingly, we're receiving word also from our event director, Jim Harris, that Gary Bauer with the Lone Ranger is trying to challenge Jerry Richmond in barefoot to a grudge match. Even though the final has already been determined, barefoot has beaten Aces High, but Bauer, the slowest qualifier in the first round, says he wants a shot at barefoot. And now our event director, Jim Harris, says, okay, bring it out. So we're going to see Barefoot versus Lone Ranger in a Ford versus Chevy showdown that we really didn't even expect to see, Shelley. Off the starting line, first man into the car is Jerry Richmond, and he just barely noses out Gary Bauer at the finish line. About 5 feet difference between those two machines, Shelley.
And he was flying through the air. That's the 5 feet that made the difference.
It's about the truth. He hit the cars not only first, but with a lot more power than Gary Bauer ever did with the Lone Ranger. Bauer just doesn't seem to have the momentum he normally does here tonight with the Lone Ranger. Back at Riverfront Coliseum in Cincinnati, Ohio, with more from the U.S. Auto Association Monster Truck and Mud Box. But in the monster truck category, the guy that said was going to win it came through with flying colors.
It was a Chevy night all around. Barefoot proved to be the big winner, but had some real close competition.
You have to admit, Jake Hankey in the Aces High El Camino was impressive with the quickest time of the night. And Chuck Stone in the unlimited mud racing category coming through in front of the one crowd that he wanted to win in front of most.
Oh, his whole family was here, and he said his wife is his sponsor, so he won for his sponsor tonight.
A heck of a job, and I'll tell you, there's going to be more U.S. Auburn Association Championship action coming your way, and we hope you join us at the next U.S. Auburn Association Championship Mud Racing and Monster Truck Spectacular. On behalf of myself, Brett Kepner, and Shelley Herman, thanks for being with us. We'll see you soon at the next U.S. Auburn Association event.